All right, so here we go. Yes, Diablo 4 just got a bunch of new updates with new in-game dungeon teases thanks to a brand new Diablo 4 trailer, which you are seeing right now. Plus, a new promo just leaked indicating there's 5 unique in-game items that we can acquire through this promo. Blizzard's recent AI patent stirred up quite the controversy recently, but what does it mean for Diablo 4 and the dev team? Plus, new Dark Templar concept based on Diablo 4's 6th class leak has everyone talking. This is really cool. All signs are also pointing towards more nerfs perhaps, or will Blizzard take the other route and do buffs going forward? We have to talk about that one. But yeah, check this out right here. And before I go on any further, I got to talk about something that has really helped me out in my personal life. It has saved me a ton of time and a ton of money. And what I'm talking about is HelloFresh. Now, HelloFresh delivers tasty food right to my door, and it's actually much more affordable compared to shopping at the grocery store and so much more convenient. Besides, who wants to go to the grocery store, roam around with a shopping cart trying to find everything, and deal with the long, never-ending checkout line when you could just have it all delivered right to you? And you don't have to worry about preparing complicated meals with tons of cleanup afterwards. Instead, HelloFresh meals can take under 2 minutes to prepare. They taste delicious and are super healthy, and cleanup is easy by comparison. That way, I can actually spend my time chilling and enjoying my games, and yes, I can even enjoy the great outdoors this spring instead of being trapped shopping in some grocery store. And fun fact, HelloFresh is actually 25% cheaper than takeout. That's a lot of money saved over the course of a year. Now, I've been really enjoying HelloFresh for the past couple of months now, and I can confidently say that it's really worth it. There are over 40 recipes and over 100 seasonal and convenience items to choose from each week. Plus, their wide variety of meal options ensures the selection never gets boring, which is really nice. So yeah, if you're curious about HelloFresh and want to try tasty and healthy meals this spring, use my link in the description below or go to HelloFresh.com and use my code POGOWG May 16 to get 16 free meals plus free shipping. Once you click, my description will live update to count up the purchases, by the way. And thank you all so much, and be sure to check out HelloFresh in the description below. And by the way, a very special thank you to HelloFresh for believing in what I do here on YouTube and sponsoring this video. All right, so we got to start out right here. It goes on to say this: don't know if it's because I pre-ordered it, and if we scroll down here, it says the availability date for Diablo 4 Ultimate Edition has changed to June 1st, 2023. And a lot of people are wondering, hey, what is going on here? Ron Ferguson goes on to clarify this right here. He says the following: PSA, if you pre-ordered a version of Diablo 4 with early access on Xbox, then you likely received a clarification email explaining that it now launches on June 1st. This is true. Early access starts at 4 p.m. PT on June 1st, with full launch at 4 p.m. PT on June 5th. So, if you are getting this news, do not panic, do not worry. You aren't missing out. Now, this does also apply for the deluxe edition as well as the ultimate edition on every platform beyond Xbox, by the way. So, here is further clarification. We have Adam Fletcher who says this: yes, in some territories, it will launch on 6/1 for early access, and it is one global launch, and so some time zones fall in 6/1 as opposed to 6/2. So that's extremely important to note right there. This is still very much a global launch. All right, so we have this question as well out on Twitter. It says, hey Joseph, do you guys have plans to allow us to see all the Paragon boards prior to spending points? This way we can plan a little better while building our characters without needing to respec. Because right now, if you guys don't know, the Paragon boards, at least the further ones down the road as you progress, are completely hidden from view, so planning and plotting is not possible. But Joseph did reply saying this: says, it's something we're definitely getting feedback on and we'll be looking at in the future. Launch really is just the beginning. So I hope they actually do have this as a feature. I don't think they're going to panic and immediately try to get this in the game out of the gate, simply because there's going to be so many third-party sites where you can go to and plan and plot your Paragon boards there. It would be nice to have it in-game. And we have this one from Chris who says this: Joe, can you confirm that you can actually wear more than one unique item on a character, so I can technically wear a Shaco and a Wind Force, and I will get the bonuses on both? Great question. And Joseph replies saying that's right. You can wear multiple different unique items and gain each of their benefits. So yes, the more you know. All right, now we have this one right here that, yes, the server slam is going to be happening next week. That's going to be May 12th through the 14th. But if we scroll down here, we have a question. You know, if the HDR upgrades will be implemented for this, so we can finally test those out on the PC side of things. And the confirmation is yes, some changes were made that will be reflected in this test because HDR was a big issue, especially on the PC side of stuff. All right, so let's get into that big in-game dungeon tease. It is called, yes, the Throne of Hatred, and we get kind of like a tease here as to what we can expect from this in-game dungeon. It looks very much like a hellscape and very creepy. I'm so hyped to hop into this particular dungeon, but they highlighted it in their brand new trailer that they released, which you can see right here, some of the newer clips that they did showcase in this trailer. I'll link it in the description below if you want to check it out for yourself, by the way. But yeah, it gets me hyped to know that as you go and progress through the game, perhaps it gets more hellscape, darker as you venture forth. That is really, really cool. Now, let's talk about that promo that was recently leaked here. I guess you would call it leaked. Check it out right here. This one comes from Gore Death Kill. And he says, upcoming promo. If we scroll down, it says Diablo 4 partnership sure to spark a chicken sandwich surge starting May 29th. And yes, this is through KFC once again, but there are actual unique in-game items that you can actually acquire through this promo. And there's going to be 5 unique, distinct items. What are those items? They have not clarified just yet. I'm assuming they're going to be cosmetics of some sort. We have this hilarious comment right here. It says this: there's going to be so much dumb stuff like this to get exclusive items for the game. Best to realize early that you will miss out on some of them depending on where you are in the world. Can't wait for the $60 codes on eBay for an exclusive fried chicken mount trophy. Yeah, that's exactly what is going to be happening, I am sure. All right, so we got to move on and talk about this recent controversial AI patent. Check it out right here. This is the headline. Blizzard clarifies controversial AI patent will always strive to maintain Blizzard quality, as they say. We'll see if that's true or not, of course. Now, the article goes on to say the following right here. Over the past couple of days, multiple articles have popped up pointing to a patent filed by Blizzard Entertainment describing a process to use machine learning to aid with art. Now, the patent was scrutinized with rather extensive levels of interpretation, leading to the idea that Blizzard would replace the work of human artists with AI. And that's a big concern. I've seen many different magazines and online media outlets actually firing a lot of their writers because they're replacing them with AI. And yes, it is a legit concern going forward for artists and talent within the gaming industry as well. Now, it goes on to say this right here. First of all, you should always remember an important factor when dealing with patents, which usually the press neglects to mention. Not all patents make it to an actual product or are actually applied. As a matter of fact, only a pretty small portion of the patents that are filed are ever used in practice. So when you read an article based on a patent that tells you that a company will do something or is planning something, that's an assumption that the simple existence of the patent does not actually support. That being said, Blizzard Entertainment president Mike Yarba took to Twitter to clarify. So yeah, let's get straight into what he actually had to say about this one. But I don't even know if it's going to even calm any nerves in the gaming industry about what's happening with AI. All right, so we have this. It says Blizzard will always strive to maintain Blizzard quality. You're trying to associate recent AI advances, generative AI, to something completely unrelated. Now, he says, our approach at Blizzard is to use machine learning and AI in ways that are additive, empathetic, and allow our talented teams to spend more time on the highest quality creative thinking and tasks. And furthermore, he says this right here. I suspect a lot of this would be cleared up had the patent the article was about actually been linked in the article. This isn't AI art. The ethics considerations of this are about the same as the ethics of a Photoshop filter. It's a tool to save time creating variant textures. And this could actually be really useful, for example, for the Diablo 4 dev team to use in the future, or even down the road, way down the road with Diablo 5, being able to use a really cool filter over existing textures to make them look and feel different. That would be interesting. Why they need a patent for something like this, that's my big question. But yeah, as it's being described, if it's actually how it works as being described, then I don't think existing artists right now at Blizzard have a reason to panic over, oh my god, I'm going to lose my job to AI. I think that it could actually speed up the process with certain mundane tasks so they can really focus up on what's really important by creating even more unique art pieces. And then again, like use these AI filters to make them look different. Textures look different from this part of the world compared to others. That's a sort of assumption that I'm seeing from this one. But yeah, I do get the concerns with, AI art taking over and people losing their jobs to such a thing. But we'll see what happens with the advancement of AI art. But it seems like Blizzard right now is trying to keep up with the advancements happening in the gaming industry. All right, so we got to talk about this headline right here. It says Diablo 4 dev explains how they draw the line on builds getting too overpowered. This is an interesting one. It goes on to say the following right here. In the latest issue of PC Gamer magazine, lead class designer Adam Z. Jackson spoke about combat design, admitting that it's fun to be powerful and even to feel or be overpowered a little bit, but that there are lines. So let's get into this a little bit more, shall we? Goes on to say this, everything's on a spectrum, Jackson says, adding that the interviewer's necromancer build was outside the spectrum. That's bad luck for this particular wielder of the undead and might also be a bit of a warning sign for those who would manipulate Diablo 4's classes and builds to become a little bit overpowered. Yeah, recently we got to hear from Riker, who got to try the most updated in-game version of Diablo 4, and he said the Necromancer actually ended up being the weakest of the classes, and his favorite ended up being the Druid, so it's completely flip-flopped from the earlier betas that we have experienced. But yeah, they got to be extremely careful with nerfs going forward, in my opinion. If you are creating an amazing build and it's pretty OP and kind of like godlike, just to have it nerfed at the end, that would absolutely suck. So I'm more for buffs when it comes to updating and patching the game and classes. So they need to be very mindful of that going forward. All right, so yes, mentioning going forward, check it out right here. It says this pretty much sets the stage for Diablo 4's class builds going forward. Jackson's comments make it sound like Blizzard probably won't be afraid to step in and adjust metrics should they see one particular class build becoming overpowered among its player base. Again, tread carefully, Blizzard. That's all I have to say, or you're going to have a very, very angry community. Definitely. Check this out. This is the headline. It says, did Blizzard accidentally ship some Diablo 4 collector's editions a month early? Maybe. And it seems like they have some partners, with Blizzard, and they got the collector's edition early. In fact, very, very early. You can see it right here. Do not ship before June 1st, 2023. Did this come with a copy of the game? Are they playing it right now? Does it mean that review copies are out in the wild? It could. They could be releasing the review copies this early. This is a very, very big game, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, because it seems like Blizzard is very, very confident in Diablo 4. This is not the case where they're going to hide this game away from media at all. They are, it seems like, very interested in being open and working with the community and taking the feedback and implementing it into actual change, which is very cool to see, I have to say. All right, so we got to talk about that Dark Templar concept. Yes. It was recently revealed that there was kind of like a leak related to Diablo 4's 6th class potentially being either a Holy Knight, or they can go the opposite direction and make it into a Dark Templar. So check it out right here. It says Diablo 4 Dark Templar concept. Look at this. Let me know what you think. This is, of course, fan-made, but this would be absolutely amazing to see in the game. Or, again, would you like to see more of a Holy Knight approach? Please sound off. It's tough. For me, I'm kind of in the middle. I can go either way. I do like the Paladin first and foremost, and the actual look of like the more regal, holy look, I guess you would say, of the Paladin. I think that would be a neat approach, and that might be the direction they might head in, considering they have like a Necromancer who's kind of like more of the dark type class anyway. So my opinion is, more and more I think about it, is they would go for perhaps more Holy Knight. However, it seems like with each iteration of Diablo, they like to introduce a class that is honestly completely unique and totally different. And Dark Templar kind of fits that mold. So yeah, it can go either way for sure. All right, so we have some pleas from the community. Check it out right here. It says this: Blizzard, please let us disable combat text. And look at this. I don't know if this is an over-exaggeration or an actual legit screenshot from the game, but yeah, that's a lot of text to see through, to see that beautiful artwork. So I think this should definitely be an option that they should consider absolutely. Now, also another plea, and this plea has happened several times, and it is by far the most upvoted thread here on Reddit within the community. Check it out. It says, please, Blizzard, let us zoom out more. It's giving me anxiety the way it's made right now. And a lot of people seem to agree. As you can see, it's kind of zoomed out here for the world boss battles, but that's kind of the zoom function that I think a lot of you guys want to see, is being able to pull the camera out. Now, it seems like there's no plans for this whatsoever right now, according to Blizzard, but I will keep you guys in the know if they do adjust this in the future. Whenever they zoom out like that, they have to consider how computers can actually handle that extra viewpoint, I guess. But I think most would be able to handle it. All right, so we got to go over your top comments for my most recent video, which was this one right here. It says, Diablo 4, the devs just gave an official update. Post-launch is going to be interesting. Check out the video on the channel if you missed it. Let's get into what you guys have to say. So first up, we have this one from Master of Sevens, who says this: yeah, I think the hiring spree has less to do with longevity of the game and more to do with Blizzard emerging employees. Yeah, there was a lot of articles about that where a producer from Blizzard came out and said that he's losing a bunch of talent. But you got to remember that that article was about a producer on the World of Warcraft Dragonflight team specifically. Now, more recently, I don't believe we have heard anything about the Diablo 4 team in regards to layoffs or people quitting left and right. About like 2 years ago, we heard that some high-profile talent, senior-level type talent, did leave, of course. That's kind of normal when you talk about senior talent that are, I guess you'd say, kind of worn out, maybe want a new adventure, and the team is pretty established. That does absolutely happen. That happened with CD Projekt Red. And there's a lot of controversy right now at Blizzard going on about bringing their workforce back into office, into that physical space. And a lot of people are not wanting to do that. They just want to work from home, and they're threatening to quit. So that's a whole other element. Now, unofficially, there have been leaks saying that Diablo 4 has been in development hell and that sort of thing. But even through that hell, the game is turning out to be quite something else and very special, at least in my mind. So yeah, it seems like they've worked through that. But we'll see what happens when the game finally launches. That's all I have to say. But yeah, there it is. The latest happenings around Diablo 4. Stay tuned for more updates. I have you guys covered. And of course, more open world gaming goodness. And I will see you all next time. Take care.